doesn't say that we're live yet. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
There we
Okay.
go.
Okay. Okay.
It takes a
So
village.
we're live now.
So that's why, because people are like, "What song?" And I'm like, "That wasn't a song to you guys."
We're over here jamming.
Yeah.
I'm still
Hey,
kind of
guys.
confused. I'm still kind of confused, but okay. Here. What's up, you guys? Thank you all for joining us. We're here with friends to the channel. We have Kempire and Grace Report, and we're here for our weekly review of Real Housewives of Potomac. How are you?
Oh, she froze a bit. You know
Uh-oh.
what? Kempire's the one with a spicy, exciting life right now. So I'll let you
How are
start.
doing, Kempire?
Oh, okay. Well, because only time it freezes on when you guys are looking beautiful. It freezes when I'm looking crazy. It's okay. Technology. It is what it is. We're gonna roll with it.
Mhm.
I think you asked how the episode was, Grace.
No, she asked how you were doing, how we
Oh,
were
how I
doing
was.
in general.
Oh,
Yeah.
my spicy life. My spicy life is in the down south. I'm just chilling. It's
Mhm.
very low key, not spicy at all. Maybe for Christmas.
What about you, Grace?
For me, it's the same. Saturday, I went to watch the game. It was France versus, I don't even remember what country we played. That's how much like we celebrated that night. I'm still feeling the effects of it, you guys.
I remember what
Yeah,
who was playing too.
I know. I don't remember. What about you, Layla?
I'm doing good. I'm in Cancun. I'm enjoying this vacation. This is a much needed vacation. So I am doing well. I'm doing well. Luckily, I'm still on Eastern Standard Time, so I feel like I can keep up with everything.
Wow.
Yum.
Yeah, yeah. So let's get into the episode. You know, we do it every week. If you had to rate the episode on a scale of 1 to 10, what would be your rating?
Mm,
I would probably give it a 6. To be honest, when I watched it immediately yesterday, and I kind of rated it for my folks, I said a
yeah.
7. But just kind of rethinking about it and rewatching it,
Uh-huh.
it wasn't fun. They're on a girls' trip. It should be fun.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was gonna say I would give it like about a 5 as well. It wasn't memorable, and it wasn't particularly fun. It was just kind of there. It almost felt like a filler episode to me.
And they're on a
So
girls' trip.
yeah, which is quite wild, right? And I'm sorry, but this is the most budget-looking trip I've seen them take so far, it seems like. They're just like stuck in this little house in the corner. Like, I don't know. It's just not, it's not giving to me. Are you feeling that too, you guys?
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very low budget. To be, one of the Real Housewives franchises, it's supposed to be like, elevated, sophisticated vacations. And
Yeah.
I don't see that either. I don't see that. If I had to rate it, I would give it like a 5. I told you guys I don't like the violence, especially for it to be the second time around. The first
Mhm.
time, things happen, but the second time around and the way the production is handling it, not just the cast, but also the production bothers me. So if I had to rate it, I would give it a 5.
Mhm.
Yeah. I was just saying this. So I feel as if this was anyone else, they would have sent Mia home. You physically attacked someone on your
Mhm.
past. And I just feel like she's still on the trip. She's still in the house. Wendy has to leave. I don't
Mhm.
like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So why do you think it is? Why do you think that Mia is still there? That Mia is not receiving?
I think it's because it's her trip, right? Like it's her house that she rented and the this and the that. And so that's kind of why they're really letting her run things. Even though it is unfortunate at the end of the
Any
day.
type of punishment for throwing her purse?
Oh,
All right, I'm back.
it's okay.
I was saying, why is Mia not being punished? Did y'all answer that?
Yeah. Grace answered it. Well, look, in response to what Grace was just saying, we have to remember production pays for these trips. She's not paying a red cent.
True.
You know what
But
I mean? I mean, there are times in the past where housewives have paid for the trip in the early years, but
yeah.
now that's not a thing. It really is
Mhm.
Bravo paying and production is paying for this trip. So Mia
Mhm.
kicking Ashley and Candace out of the house, girl, sit down. And that's why Ashley was like, I'll be in my room tonight.
Right.
Ratchet
Right.
ass Mia. She really got her out of character tonight.
So I know we talked about this a little bit last week, and hopefully you guys can at least hear me okay. But we talked about how basically Wendy, after she was assaulted by Mia, like she wants to fight. She wants to fight Mia, and so she was saying she can't stay in the house with her because I forget the word she used, something along the lines of like dragging her. Like I can equate it to dragging her. And what do you guys think about that? What do y'all think about Wendy's reaction?
I said, well, there goes Miss Respect. What was it? Respectability politics last year, talking about setting an example to young Black girls and Black. It's like, listen, if someone pisses you off enough, like you can have a reaction that is just, you know what I mean? Like, is like what Wendy has, or is like what anybody else had. It's just representative of you and how you feel in that moment. And it was unfair the way that she put that on Monique as a representative or as a disappointment to all Black women. You know, was Wendy a disappointment to all Black women when she was like, oh, I want to beat her ass? She was making fun of her skin and this and that. No, it was just, she was really pissed and she acted out of character because, you know, something horrible happened to her. So I wonder if that's something that she reflected on or is going to reflect on or at some point.
And that's a great question that Andy, if he is hosting this reunion, although I don't think he should be, especially with the conversations that we need to have at this reunion, that it needs to be a question that is posed towards Wednesday in regards to her response and her bringing Monique up in that moment, you know, during last week's episode. So I would want to ask her that question. How do you feel about it now?
Yeah. She said when she was going to go back there, she would beat her ass or something like that. So I don't know. Was that a good example to her daughter? I think at the end of the day, she's human, but she has to remember what she said about Monique.
No. And you don't know what you're going to do until you're in that moment, to be honest with you. I'm not a violent person. However, no one's ever thrown a drink on me. No one's ever tried to hit me with their bag.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, I would hope not, but
yeah. It all depends on what you've got going on, how much you drank. Because these girls, they drink so much when they're around each other. You've got stress of like home or like the show or this or that. Like you could be having a bad day. Like if so, like all these like bad ingredients are together, they can really get you, you know, acting up. And so that's why it's always important to extend some kind of grace to people.
Yeah. On some level. And I think that's the issue with Monique last season, well, the previous season, was that they didn't even give her any sort of an open mind or grace in that moment.
But do you think that's because she wasn't sorry? Like she wasn't at a point where she could say she was sorry. And I felt like that was a sliver of it. Like maybe 10% of it was that she wasn't sorry, and they just took that 10% and ran with it and, you know, had no grace for her. I can't say if she was sorry. I still can't say that they would have had grace for her because of the type of people that Robyn and Giselle are. Like to me, like they're not good people. In this episode, Robyn even admitted that she was siding with Mia because she doesn't like Wendy. Yeah. It wasn't about fairness. It wasn't about what's right and what's wrong. For her, she was like, I don't like Wendy. And we all know why she doesn't like Wendy, because Wendy called out her relationship. So obviously, like they're not fair people.
Did Mia show any remorse though?
Pardon? No.
Did Mia show any more remorse?
No. Mia played victim.
She Lord.
Yeah, she played victim, and it was hard to watch. It was so hard to watch her play victim. But we saw her playing victim, and she was saying that Karen wasn't on her side, and that she should have been on her side. And for me, it was very hard to watch. But what did y'all think? Because throughout the whole episode, Mia played victim. What did y'all think of Mia's response?
Well, you know, it's interesting because at the top of the season, they were sort of calling Mia out for playing victim on social media because of, you know, her cancer scare. So it's so interesting that you point that she's playing victim here. That might be something that she's done her entire life, and that we're starting to see it play out on camera. Because as you know, when you're on a reality show, it really highlights certain things about you that you probably didn't even realize about yourself.
Right.
And I can see probably Jacqueline might not be her friend anymore.
Absolutely. And I saw you tweeting about that this morning, so I'm excited. I think think she played it up because it helped her to feel closer to the Green Eyed Bandits, like, oh my God, they're defending me. Like, you could see how happy she was. She wanted to be babied by them. So she was really playing it up, really, truly playing it up.
Yeah. I still feel like Mia has some healing to do regarding her upbringing, because I do feel like she plays victim and all of these things because when she actually was a victim, it didn't seem like enough people cared, or the right people cared, that she was a victim. When she was a child, she was going through a lot, and it doesn't seem like the right people cared. And I feel like she still carries that with her, like in her in her interactions with other people, she still carries that victim mentality. Yeah. And I don't think that's like, it doesn't help anybody.
I think most of all, she wants that sort of remorse and attention from her mom, from her parents, and she didn't get that
type of mentality. It doesn't help.
Yeah. Well, what's the story with her dad? I can't remember. Where is he?
He died in jail.
No, but what? I keep freezing up, but I have to know what y'all think about Giselle ordering dessert, because I felt like Giselle was so entertained by this whole situation. What did y'all think about her ordering dessert? Like, she's sitting there, eating her sweets, while all of this ugliness is going on. What did y'all think about that?
I thought it was funny what Karen said. This woman has a bottomless stomach. I almost fell out.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, oh my God, this girl's always eating. It's kind of like Candy. You're like, wow, oh my God. She made light of it, right? Like, somebody was suffering, somebody was attacked, and she's just, who wants dessert and this and that, like it was funny. When before she's talking about, well, this and that is a bad example for my daughters, Black daughters, my this, my that. It just looked really bad from an optics perspective. You've got her over here ordering dessert like she's watching like a fun live show. Then you've got Robyn antagonizing the situation by filming Wendy. She claimed that she was filming the situation for no he said, she said, but she was only filming Wendy. And you saw that when she was showing the footage to Candace later.
Yeah. And that says a lot. Yeah. And considering everything that's going on, like in pop culture and the filming of physical violence, if I was Robyn, I would be so embarrassed to have done that. Because when you film something, on the one hand, yes, people want a record of something like injustice, like police brutality. But on the other hand, within a group of friends, when you film something and you're giving people even more of a platform, like they already have a platform, but you're giving them even more of a platform to put on even more of a show, it escalates. You know what I mean? It escalates things. And
the timeline of this playing out on RHOP and what's going on in the news with Shanquella Robinson, it's just, and especially the mean girl behavior that we're seeing on this trip and what happened to Shanquella, you see it differently. You see it very differently.
Yeah. Yeah. So one thing, I'm sorry, go ahead, Grace.
I was just going to say, I noticed that Chris Bassett has been saying that too on Twitter about, how it magnifies everything so much more right now.
Yeah, it does. It does. It really does. And one thing, Karen is my girl. Karen is mother. She's been mother, but it kind of changed for me this episode because at certain points, I understand why she wants to be neutral. But when she was saying that they canceled each other out, Wendy's words canceled out Mia's violence, I didn't agree with that. I didn't agree with that at all. And it kind of made me look at Karen differently.
Yeah.
What did y'all think about that?
That's a good point. I feel like, like you said, although we love Karen, somebody who wants to be a friend to everybody at the end of the day winds up being a friend to nobody is what it kind of feels like is happening with her. You can't equate the violence with this or that. And when you go back to the discussion that was being had, Wendy said nothing that warranted the drink in her face. All she said was she did not need to contact Peter because she was not in Miami for business. She didn't even know they were going to be at his restaurant. And then she said, I don't know how you do it in your marriage, but with me, I'm not telling another man. And then she gets to drink in the face. So I don't think they canceled each other out. No.
Yeah. I think, and I agree with CA in the comment section, Karen just wanted me to shut up because I really don't believe that Karen believed that. I think Karen probably was more on Wendy's side, but she was just like, okay, girl, I think you both were wrong. I think she was trying to simmer the situation because they were putting a lot of pressure on Karen to be the voice of reason. You all are grown. All of you. So Karen's everyone should be getting involved and trying to simmer the situation and correcting Mia for throwing something at someone. going back and forth with words is one thing, but throwing something at someone and then trying to hit them with your bag, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But it was a 2-for-1 special, you guys, right? Like they get to really get to Wendy, but and then they also get to throw Karen under the bus. You know how those girls rock, Giselle and Robyn. They're always looking for an opportunity to come for Karen, to come for Wendy. And so they really got it that night. And they were really trying to hammer it home and deflect from their own actions as well.
Yeah. So what's up, Mims?
Hey.
Make It Make Sense said Mia is 50. Oh, no, wait. Mia is 58 years old. Time to stop playing victim. We know Karen is the 5'9". Karen is 5'9". Mia, if I had to guess, I would say maybe 38. But I do get what
said 38.
Not 38?
No, she said multiple times that she's, I think just recently on social media, she says, I'm celebrating my 38th birthday, and everyone in the comments were like, didn't you say that the first season that you were here?
Oh yeah, that's right. When she was trying to do the math, she couldn't figure it out.
I feel like she's in her 40s.
I don't know how old she is. 40, early 40s?
Yeah, she looks like she's in her 40s to me.
Someone said R38, I can't.
Oh my God. R40, like Robyn. And Zoe, thank you for the super chat, Zoe. We appreciate your support ever since last season. Zoe said, my mother said, don't fight someone who has nothing to lose. And I never fought after that. It's triggering, and this season so far hurts. I do agree with that. Because people with nothing to lose, they're going to fight you in a different way because they don't have anything to lose. You know what I mean? So I definitely agree with that. And I feel that way.
They're going to go to the gutter with that.
But would you guys say that Mia has nothing to lose, though?
I mean, she's already lost it at this point, but I mean, at that point, she still was a CEO.
Well, I think that's why Wendy's words were triggering her so much. When Wendy was like, there's a CEO, and you see the CEO fighting. I think that's why Mia was so triggered, because she, in a way, she does have something to lose, but she was acting like she doesn't. You know what I mean? She was at her lowest.
Yeah. I love my little devil's advocate questions.
Right.
She was definitely at her lowest.
You know what I forgot to ask you guys earlier? Layla, you're on mute.
Here we go.
Still?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Grace.
What I forgot to ask you guys earlier, what was your reaction to Giselle at the house talking about, is Wendy coming back, with that weird attitude? And then when she hears that Wendy's gone, wow, today's going to be a great day. Like, did that kind of give it like a visceral, reaction out of anybody else?
Giselle's a big mean girl.
Yeah.
There is a level of immaturity with Giselle that I'm like, girl, you have 3 daughters. You are a grown woman. Because I paid attention to that as well, Grace. I saw that. I was just like, look at the mean girl going downstairs so she can talk about Wendy and gather all the girls together to talk about Wendy and how much you don't like Wendy. I'm like, come on. I know on some level we in order to be on Real Housewives, you have to be immature, but it's reached a level that it's like, really? Is that what we're doing?
I felt the same way.
I did. I don't like Giselle as a person. I don't think she's a good person. I feel like she's never grown up. There's a certain immaturity about her that she's taken into her 50s. Like, it's a part of her core being, and I just don't think she's a good person. But they have a moment with Cherise and Giselle and Robyn are sitting together, and they question Ashley, because Ashley is kind of like, I don't want to say Team Wendy, but she feels for Wendy because Wendy was attacked, and she says she doesn't like violence. And they say, okay, well, if you don't like violence, why did you support Monique legally and write that statement for Monique when Monique was violent against Candace? And I feel like that was kind of them flipping the switch. Like, I understand the point that they were making, but at the same time, like last season, they had a totally different viewpoint of violence themselves. So I feel like they're kind of switching it up on Ashley instead of taking accountability for their own viewpoint swing.
And I kind of wish Ashley had pointed that out to them in that moment. Like, well, what about you?
It was like that Spider-Man meme where Spider-Man's pointing at Spider-Man 100,000%.
Yeah, I'm like, But I also don't trust Ashley, especially on how everything's been playing out these last few episodes. And I know
Yeah.
Layla loves to call Ashley a snake. So every time I look at Ashley now, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I trust her and her defense and being there for Dr. Wendy now. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we saw that with Candace. She said she was going to put everything to the side with Candace and let's just focus on Wendy. But then and you see in the preview for the next episode, she's not putting stuff to the side. Like she's back at it. You know, there's no stopping Ashley. So I definitely still feel like she's a snake, you know, but at some point she tries to be reasonable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Someone said that Cherise is acting like a wicked stepmother. I can't. I love the comments.
Well, mind you, like, what has she brought so far? Like, even this episode, she was kind of just there, right?
Yeah, she's not bringing anything. It's sad because I feel like when they were talking about the possibility of Cherise coming back, I was like, I'm open to it. And now that she's back, I'm just like, you are just desperate to come against Karen. You're desperate just to be relevant on the show so that you can come back for another season. But so far, she hasn't brought anything. Not even being funny. I'm not saying that she has to cause drama with anyone, but at least come back and be funny. And I know what all of you are going to say. She never was funny, Kempire. So why would she start now?
Yeah. It's exactly that. She's just so like lethargic to me. She's always just there, like eyes half closed, half open, sitting around. Like, come on now.
So you guys watching us in the chat, we definitely appreciate your viewership. And I want to invite you to like the video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Make sure you subscribe to Kempire and Grace Report's channel. If you look in the comment section and in the description box, there are links to their channel. So make sure you just click the little links and subscribe. We do this every week. And yeah, so we're back at it this week. And one thing we saw was Robyn. We've seen Robyn kind of flip-flop this season. Like she started off strong with her own opinions and she kind of flip-flops. And you see Robyn, when Candace arrives, Robyn is showing Candace the video. And Candace is saying that Mia should have left. You know what I mean? Because she was the aggressor. Like what she saw in the video was Mia being the aggressor and Mia should have left. But it didn't seem like Robyn agreed with that. What are y'all's thoughts on that?
Robyn.
Yeah.
Robyn. Look, Robyn is desperate this season. She knows that we've been saying for the last couple of seasons, she's boring. She's not bringing anything. Why is she here? And we know at the top of the season, she came out swinging and she's getting involved in everything. But she is also very much in these last couple of episodes flip-flopping. And I get it. You don't like Wendy, but sometimes you got to kind of step out of your dislike of someone and be like, well, this is not right. Especially when we are talking about the whole Monique situation just a couple of seasons ago, where you guys are like, we don't do that. We're above that. Okay, so be at least consistent with your stance on that. Like, you know what? I don't like Wendy, but I also don't like the fact that Mia did what she did. You can say that. You can. Those two worlds can exist together.
Robyn doesn't even like Mia either, you know, like stop it at the end of the day. But it's like Karen said, Karen clocked her. I think it was season 2 or 3. She told her that she is like the dizziest, you know what, at the table. And that's exactly what Robyn is. She's just dizzy all the time. Like she just doesn't make any sense.
She really is.
Oh, you're on mute, Layla.
Oh, my bad. You know, I'm working on 2 devices. Monique Jackson, thank you for the super chat. She says, Cherise is the Cherie of Potomac.
That's the thing.
I feel like, no. I feel like Cherie brings a lot more to Real Housewives.
To be honest, though, I think Cherie is just, it is true. She's got a lot more energy and then she brings the bones and then this and that. But outside of that, like, she's so disappointing because she's so beautiful. She's so in shape. She could, like, if she drummed up the charisma, she could really be something big, right? And it's just crazy to watch her fumble it season after season. She always picks the losing team. Remember that epic reunion where they all read down Kim Zolciak and she was on Kim's team? I was like, come on, Cherie.
Especially with the things that Kim was saying. It's like,
exactly.
Yeah, about being the only white woman in a group of Black women. Yeah, and then Cherie is on her side. Yeah, it definitely didn't look right for Cherie.
Yeah.
Thank you for the super chat, Rochelle. She said Mia acting like Wendy messed up her nails bothered me. She did that herself. That's true. She broke her own nails because Mia
Yeah.
never got a chance Mia. Wendy didn't do anything to her. She didn't touch her. She said also Robyn, rubbing that man's arm on the beach was so cringe. What did
If
y'all
it
think
was
about
one
that?
time, I still would have cringed. But it was the multiple times. I mean, he was fine, but still.
Yeah.
Consent.
I didn't like it. It gave like, like when like white women touch like young black men or something like that, like their little pets or whatever. That's the vibe I got from it. Yeah. And I was like, what happened to your fake engagement? Did you forget about it?
For a second there, she forgot about it.
Yeah.
The L Factor, thank you for the super chat. She said, I wonder what Giselle's daughters think of her behavior on the show. I would be so disappointed if my mom acted like that. And that's a good question. It seems like Giselle's daughters kind of have more sense than her. From what we see on the show, they seem a little bit more like level-headed. So I do wonder what they think of their mom and how she acts on the show, especially, with the Me Too movement and her accusing Chris of making her uncomfortable when it's possible that she invited Chris to the room and made herself uncomfortable. Like, it's possible that he wasn't the origin of the issue, she was, but she hasn't taken accountability for that. I really do wonder what they think.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless, we would never know because they're not going to, out their mom. You know what I mean? I think they'll drag their mom in every other way. But if they disagree with something like that, they're not going to say it on camera.
Speaking of outing your mom, so I read Wendy's book, Tears of My Mother. Have y'all read it?
No.
So I read it on my trip here. And she definitely outed her mother. It was not what I expected. I thought it was going to be her telling some type of pain or trouble that her mom had in her life, but it was not that. It was not that at all. It was basically her. She, Wendy talks about her upbringing, but she blames her mom for a lot of things. And it's like, wow, you're really putting this on public display? Like, I was...
Okay, she's got me wondering now.
Right? Now I'm like, I need to read the book.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's like when I finished the book.
Wow. I wonder if her mom read the book.
I would never out my...
Oh.
All right, I'm trying to reconcile my two devices. Can y'all still hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
With the mom being on the cover,
Right?
I kind of feel like she might have at least like read slightly or like the little outline or something before you do a book. Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. It just wasn't good. I mean, it was a good book, but I just don't agree with how she talked about her mother like that.
Well, what did she say?
Well, basically that in my opinion, it's like her and her mom have two different love languages. But she was basically talking about her mother. She never gives her approval. All she does is say, like, you have to be a doctor, whether it's a PhD or MD or even a JD. Like, you have to, be successful, either a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer. Those are your only three choices. Like, her mom is very hard on her. And she said it's part of their culture or whatever. But her mom, when she makes these achievements, her mom is never celebratory. It's always the next level. And then also, for some reason, even though her mom is like a nurse, when it comes to medical emergencies, like when her daughter was in the NICU, she was like, her mom, she didn't come to the NICU. And like when she had her BBL and her breast implants, her mom didn't come and support her. So she was saying at the times where she needs the most support, like where she's having medical situations, she feels like her mom punishes her. Like her mom wanted her to have a party. She didn't throw the party. So when she had her BBL, her mom didn't come support her. Different things like that she was exposing about her mom. And I just felt like, I mean, that's a lot, to put out to the public about your mother.
Yeah. I mean, I wish she would be this authentic on the show. I mean, she does share some of that on the show, but I know she did an interview with Carlos King, and I felt her explaining why she is the way she is on the show and why she's trying all these different things. I think if she really was that vulnerable on the show, I think more people would gravitate towards her. and understand why she's doing and why she's moving the way she's moving, because it comes across inauthentic, even though she's saying, no, I'm still trying to find who I am. I need you to say that on the show because it's not coming across that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so we have a scene where Mia tells Ashley, Karen, and Candace that if they go check on Wendy, when they come back, they need to find another place to stay. It was so petty. It was so petty, especially, you know, now you guys have confirmed Mia is not paying.
I thought the same thing when that happened. I was like, Mia, you have
organized it, but it's bright.
She's on a power trip at the end of the day. Mia, that whole thing, like MIA, what was it? Like she used it as her own kind of thing. It stands for Mia. It was too much. I didn't like it. It just felt very much like, you know, like when you play as kids or something like that, and then a little kid gets the power trip. That's the vibe that I got from her at her age, and it just was not a good look. It was very mean.
And I honestly think that Mia, she knows that the fans realize that this trip isn't paid by her. It's paid by production. So she's running with, this is my trip. And we've seen other housewives do that. This is my trip. And we're like, calm down. We saw Marlo do it. And like, this is my trip. And Kenya was really trying to break that fourth wall. Like, no, I'm not going anywhere. I am coming. I am showing up. You cannot tell me I cannot show up on this trip. And I know the producers won't allow them to say it. However, I'm glad that both Candace and Ashley had the responses that they're like, we're still going to be there. Stop. I can't with her.
Yeah. I just can't with her. I kind of got the vibe. She wanted her alone time with the Green-Eyed Bandits. And she's like, now we can really be best friends forever. It's just,
she doesn't understand they're only friends with each other. And then even at a certain point, I'm glad you mentioned that because, you know, people always say that Robyn and Giselle are like a secret couple. And they actually tried to flip it on Jacqueline and Mia because Giselle swears she heard or saw them showering together.
She saw them, Layla. She was in the pool, you know, doing her little things, you know, she likes to do. And she would look up and she saw two women in a shower. That is evidence.
Yeah.
Evidence of what?
I asked this question. I'm going to ask you ladies because I couldn't wait to see you ladies to ask this question. Do you take showers with your girlfriends?
No, never.
I mean, I can understand maybe being naked in front of your girlfriends. I mean, I'm not naked in front of any of my friends, but that's outside like my partner. So, but I said, you know what? That might not be my experience. Other people, everyone in my chat were saying, nope, never, not doing it.
For me, it's the same, like being naked around your friends, even like when we've been on trips, like we've been naked around each other, like in the shower, but not actually showered together. But I don't equate that to some type of, you know, intimate relationship. To me, it's two different things. And I didn't like that they were putting that on Mia and Jacqueline because it doesn't seem to be true.
I feel like that was just the cherry on top because I think everyone looking at Mia and Jacqueline's relationship, especially with the terms that they use, like we share everything and we get a vibe that there's more there than just friendship. Just saying.
I don't get that vibe. You get that vibe, girl?
Yeah, I do. Mainly from Mia's side. I feel like Jacqueline is the type, like, you know, she's newly separated from her baby daddy. She might need, you know, to feel some ba-ba-boom again. But I feel like Mia would always be pushing for something like that. Because I've known people like this. I used to date a guy, okay? And his friend group was really like, they would all sleep with each other, like the girls, and like this one guy had a girlfriend, and then like the girlfriends in the group, they would all sleep together and do this.
You mean like sleep together, like the in and the out?
They'd be having like threes, they'd be having like fours. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. So like to me, I'm like, okay, I could see that some people do this with their friends or with whatever. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised. But the only thing that's holding me back a little bit is that they grew up together as sisters.
Yeah, and that's what makes me feel like it's not that. That makes me feel like it really is just like, you know, they're just sisters and don't see each other like that. But thank you, Zoe. I don't know if I read this. I got thrown off. But she said, I love team and contribute coins as we do the rotation. Thank you. We definitely appreciate it. And there was another super chat I wanted to read. Thank you, Florence. Florence said, Mia, luckily Wendy. Yeah, she's lucky Wendy didn't press charges because Wendy could have, because there were 2 physical assaults, one with a drink and then one with the purse. And it was on camera. So Wendy definitely could have pressed charges. And Mia is lucky. While she's complaining, she really needs to be thankful that charges weren't pressed against her. Thank you, Miss Vicky, for the super chat. She said, I wonder if Robyn was saying, I am so glad Juan Dixon's not here right now. when she was smiling in the dude's face on the beach. So let me see. I'm looking for any other super chats. Hopefully I haven't missed any. Oh, here's another one. Mims said, oh, Rob the Builder was mad. she was mad she missed the shower show.
Poor Robyn. She keeps catching strays. Speaking of Robyn, I have to ask you guys, when Candace comes, they do the tequila shots. The girls do it with the limes, and then Candace does it without. She said limes are for B words. I thought it was a joke that people do, like, hey, I'm too tough for it. And it's just like some, you know what I mean? Why did Robyn do that?
Robyn was in her feelings.
I didn't.
She was. Yeah, I thought it was being extra sensitive. Like some stuff, you could take it either way, but when you choose to take it the wrong way, I feel like that's a personal choice that you make. So I feel like Robyn made a personal choice to be offended at Candace, probably to get closer to Giselle, because how that situation works. But I don't feel like Candace meant anything by it. I could be wrong, but I just don't feel like Candace meant anything by it.
It's just like a normal figure of speech. Like Robyn came across unsocialized when she was upset by it. I was like, have you been around people before? I mean, people who are not Giselle. Like, come on now. People say that all the time. Weird.
She might be just taking everything as a dig.
Yes. She's just so wound up. She's scared of losing her job, and it shows.
Just taking.
So they have lunch. The girls who are like compassionate towards Wendy. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
You can hear me? Okay, so they have lunch, and Wendy arrives to lunch, and she says that Peter told her that Mia did some snake mess to his then girlfriend, and that he doesn't really mess with Mia like that because of that. And so that was surprising because this whole fight was about, Mia made it seem like it was about Peter and Wendy not checking in with Peter, and that's how it all escalated. But what did y'all think of Wendy revealing that, Peter doesn't really mess with Mia like that either?
Peter is the root of all evil at this point. I'm like, so Peter's just gossiping to both of these ladies, and Mia's running with it. Wendy didn't hold that against Mia, though. I think, she may not like Mia, but she didn't hold it against me. She wasn't throwing it in Mia's face. So you can see the maturity levels on how they would handle this sort of, gossip that Peter is trying to spin. At the root of all of it, it's Peter being messy, and he needs to go.
Absolutely. Peter's just talking to talk, right? Like the stuff that he was spreading about Wendy, it turned out not to be true. Wendy pulled the receipts. She was supposed to visit the location, and he never responded back. And he relayed the wrong message to Mia as well. Like, you can't take his word for anything. Maybe that thing didn't even happen with him and his ex-girlfriend, right? Like, there's some people like that who bond with people through gossip, and they're so desperate for it that they will even make things up.
I kind of believe it, though. When someone says Mia was a snake, I kind of believe it. I do think something happened. I would like to know what happened. What did Mia do? But I will say I do kind of believe she did something, because I feel like if she's hanging out with both Peter and Gordon and another woman, I do feel like she might do something,
What you're saying is that Mia is not a girl's girl.
No, I don't think she is at all. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's another question that needs to come up at the reunion. What exactly did Mia do to Peter's then girlfriend? One thing, one of my folks that follow me on Twitter pointed out in that picture that they showed last week with the woman rubbing up on Peter in the picture, but they blurred her out. He was still married to Cynthia Bailey at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it played out because Cynthia was mad. She was like, "You're embarrassing me." Peter's point was that he wasn't doing anything sexual, but Cynthia was like, "You are embarrassing me when you're doing that to a woman and you're married to me." Yeah, Peter, he's a mess. He's definitely a mess, and he's
Jamaican
causing
men,
trouble
I
on
can
both.
say that I'm not the same, but I grew up with a bunch. Just saying.
You're different.
I'm gay.
Do you guys think he'll make a little appearance at the reunion?
No,
Like,
don't even give them ideas, Grace. Don't give
Come
them
on now.
ideas.
I want it to happen. Listen, we had Escala come on to say her 2 little lines, and she did nothing all season. We deserve Peter.
Okay, you got a point. Okay, you got a point.
Thank you.
Oh my god.
You got a point. Okay. I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad. If Peter came on, I wouldn't be mad. But it's Karen's birthday. Part of the trip is that it's Karen's birthday. And Mia says she doesn't want to have the white party that they planned for Karen because Karen is not on her side. She's not there with her and she's not on her side. What did you guys think about Mia not wanting to have the white party for Karen?
She probably want to actually pay for something.
Maybe.
That might be it. Yeah, she was just so like, she was really gassed up at the fact that the Green-Eyed Bandits took her side. And so she just wanted to be like this huge tyrant the entire weekend. And it just, it sucked. I felt bad for Karen, honestly, because she convinced her to go on this trip.
Celebration. I'm like, when are we going to start celebrating Karen?
Exactly.
Right.
The trip looks like a nightmare.
Right. It does. It does. I'm on a trip right now and I could never imagine like being on a trip like that with people who don't actually like you. You know what I mean? Like you have to be safe, and being around people who don't actually like you it can be very unsafe, which Wendy, she found out. She definitely found out. So Candace and Wendy go and meet with Trina, the baddest bee.
The Diamond Princess.
Yes. I love Trina. And I love that when Trina played her verse, like I just love the genuine joy, like seeing that compared to other things that we see on this show. To me, it was a real moment. I appreciated seeing that. What did y'all think of that scene?
I didn't think much of it, to be honest with you. I think, the same as you. It seemed exciting. The only thing that was really on my head was how they couldn't even fake like any kind of chemistry with one another, because this was hot off the heels of them meeting up with Wendy for lunch. And then we even got to see how bored they were. They were like, yeah, right. And then she decides to tag along with Candace to the recording studio. And so I was like, wow, like these girls, they don't have chemistry at all.
Wendy and Candace.
And then when Ashley was there at the dinner with them, even Karen didn't have chemistry with them. Like it didn't seem like they had fun or they filled the air with conversation at their lunch. No.
They're not real friends.
No.
I was focused. I actually enjoyed that scene more than anything else that we got in this episode, just because it felt like it was genuine, because we know Candace is really trying to, elevate her music, and this is a real collab that's happening. And to have someone like Trina on their show, they just had Nicki Minaj. Now you have someone that's as legendary as Trina. I think I know Bravo were like, yes, to get that sort of cameo during their episode, and no one really saw that coming. I like Trina's verse. I mean, I have to listen to the song as a whole, but I wasn't really feeling the song like that. But I love that Wendy, though, was there, like really supporting Candace in that moment.
Was she, or she bored? I thought she was bored, and so she tagged along.
No, I mean, she had nothing else to do. She couldn't go hang out with the other ladies.
Exactly. She was stuck in her hotel room.
So Mia meets with Karen and Jacqueline, and Karen says that Mia is controlling. Like you see this kind of like, you see Karen calling out Mia, like Mia is trying to check Karen, and Karen is calling out Mia for being controlling. So you can see that interaction there. Do y'all think like this is their end of whatever friendship they were starting to form? Do y'all think this is the end of it between Karen and Mia?
I don't think it's the end. I think this is a bump in the road. I think actually they might be good now. But I think we're going to see, based off of footage that we've seen leak, that there is going to be a little bit of a back and forth between her and Mia during the season. But I think they will get to at least a decent place. I don't think they were ever truly deep friends, but they're neighbors. So I think other than that.
Yeah, I agree. I think they were, Karen knows to keep her as a surface level friend. So she doesn't take anything she does too personally. She knows that Mia's kind of kooky.
Yeah, she does. MEP said, don't forget Patricia, meaning Peter, gossip about Wendy to Giselle. Yeah, he's a gossiper. He's what they say, a gossip monger. He's a gossiper. So thank you for your super chats. There was one more from AJ. You guys give me a second. Let me find the super chat.
Guys, don't forget to like the video if you haven't already. It helps.
Yes, like and subscribe. Do all those YouTube things. Do all those things. AJ, thank you for your super chat. AJ 30 said, Candace and Wendy being in the studio is what we wanted to see. Fun and lighthearted. And I love that they slithered when they left. Yes, I love it. Yes, and I hope Trina slithers in the video. Like, I want to see it.
I want to see all the girls in the video slithering, and with Karen in the front.
That was cute.
That was the best part.
Does that include like Robyn and Giselle? You're including all the girls?
I'll leave that up to Candace. I'll leave that up to Candace. Whoever she's friends with.
So what are y'all looking forward to on the next episode? They showed the preview. What are y'all looking forward to for the next episode?
I'm hoping some fun. But it doesn't seem like fun is happening with the preview of Robyn pulling out some audio of Candace on her IG Live talking about the girls, but she's not really talking about the girls based on everything that everyone's saying that actually saw the live that Candace did. But it'll be interesting to see how they will play this out.
Yeah.
Me too.
Candace has a certain way.
Poor Layla.
Kept talking. When I watched her IG lives,
Go ahead, Grace.
But it's just a beginning.
Look,
Grace.
Yeah.
I hope you're not laughing at my.
My heart is like, poor Layla, poor Layla.
The thing is, I can still hear y'all.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
It happens. Look, it happens, and that's why I haven't really done any lives when I'm, because I've tried, and it's like we try to give you guys, content while we're when we're on vacation, and sometimes it doesn't work out. But I feel like overall, this has been a solid live.
Exactly.
Oh, thank you. I have really tried, so thank you.
So cute. Listen, for me next week, what I'm looking forward to is what the heck is going on with Karen. Ashley's going to expose Candace for gossiping about Karen dating other men, and I think Karen's going to be screaming at Candace about that. I think that's going to be quite interesting to see what happens there. Like, wow, like I have not seen her that mad. Like, I don't think ever. Has she ever screamed like that?
Oh my gosh, really? No, and it takes a lot, because I always go back to the astrological signs. It takes a lot for a Taurus to lose it like that.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like we've really seen Karen go like that unless it's necessary.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the same thing. I was saying that when I saw the previews for the season, I didn't like that Candace was having that conversation about Karen with Ashley. I don't like that conversation. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how that's going to play out. Because I think it's a turning point. I think it's possible that's a turning point between Candace and Karen. They're on the edge anyway because of the past. So I think it might be a turning point for those two.
You know what? It's necessary. She's about to learn her lesson finally that Ashley is not her friend, no matter how desperate she is to make Ashley her friend. Ashley is a friend to no one, right? Like, stop it, Candace. Look what it's gonna cost you. So painful.
Yeah.
So juicy.
Yeah.
You have another super chat on Layla.
Oh, okay. Let me find it. Thank you.
Of course. Gotta say thank you for the coins.
You used to shake it.
I'll shimmy for the coins. There you go, Zoe.
Oh,
So
What?
Obi said, Wendy, what was the snake as that's the real tea? That's what I want to know. Like, what did Mia do? When Peter said she did some snake stuff, what exactly was it?
Maybe it'll come out later.
Yeah, I hope so. I will definitely make a video on that because I want to know what it was. Zoe said, attorney at 25, 2 postgraduate certificate at 28, saved enough for my brother medical school fees. No, I am proud. Just focus on what I like, i.e. husband, kids, etc. and next goal set. It's toxic, but
like the mentality of like African mothers sometimes. Yes, I feel you, Zoe. My mom is the same way. She'll call me up
to voice out Wendy.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. It's not ever enough. Academic stuff.
Thank you all for joining us. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Grace.
No. I was just filling air.
And you got another super chat.
Oh, you know what? I really appreciate the super chats. Yeah. You know, especially when it's like this and I'm doing my best. It's I definitely appreciate the super chats. Who was it? Okay, here it is right here. Tiana Ruth said, if I was Eddie, I'm having a conversation with Peter about my wife getting assaulted because he wanted to be messy. But do you blame Peter? Because Peter didn't know that Mia would be physical.
Yeah, but still he's gossiping and it's spreading misinformation, mind you, about a potential business partner. So even just on that alone, he needs a talking to man. I know Peter prefers to tussle with the ladies, but he needs a talking to man.
Yeah, especially when you're talking about business. If you're doing something as a professional, and Peter's been doing this a long time, the professional thing to do is to go to the person you're doing business with, not someone that's not in the business arrangement. And now it's turned into this other thing.
Exactly. And before we forget, you guys, there was no boil on Mia's butt. I looked too before Robyn said it. I was like, there's no boil on this booty.
I felt like, why search her butt? Like, I'm not gonna like, you know.
But you know why Robyn was looking.
It would be Robyn.
You can't catch a break, and I love it.
I want to thank you both for joining me today and this entire season of the Real Housewives of Potomac, and for everyone who watched and commented or even lurked or shared a super chat. We all definitely appreciate your support, and we do this every week. So next week we will be on, I believe,
Kempire's channel next week.
Woo, next week, 1 p.m. Eastern.
Make sure to subscribe, you guys.
Yes, make sure you subscribe. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you. You know what? I made it through the video. This is it. Thank you. Thank you. Zoe said, yes, Grace, it's next enough. It's always what you lack. So I feel for Wendy. Thanks for filling out the missing blanks. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Both.
Of course. I'm opinion, you guys. I get it.
All right. So I'll see everybody next week.
Bye, guys.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.